Our big annual fall road trip is coming up. What has changed about my trip planning? For the fourth year in a row, we're traveling from North Texas to the Appalachian Mountains. The first year that we went was to Mars Hill, North Carolina. We flew, we rented a car, and we decided after that we would just drive. And so the past 2 years, we have road tripped our Chevy Bolt from North Texas to Sevierville, Tennessee. This year, the destination moved even further east to Charlottesville, Virginia. It added on approximately 400 miles, and that distance, without any more time to do it, is one of the main reasons that we now have this car that's going to be taking the road trip with us, this 2022 Tesla Model 3 that we purchased from Hertz. And if you've been following the channel, you know the saga. Well, last year before the road trip, I did a breakdown of how I did road trip planning with the Bolt because it did not have native navigation in it. Well, the Tesla does, but I still went into a better route planner to get an idea of the trip. It is, depending on the route we take, 1,260 some miles to nearly 1,300 miles, depending on which route we take. And we did not want to do all of that in one shot. We wanted to have a hotel somewhere in the middle on both directions. So 2 days on the road there, 2 days on the road back. And we wanted to strategically place the hotel so that most of our driving was done and we could still get to our destination at a decent hour, and even more importantly, get home before dark, so I still had time to get ready to go to work the next day. So after this whole trip, I've still got to be up and go to my full-time job. So the second and fourth days are not very long legs. So I used a better route planner to kind of get an idea of the trip, and I would add in the stops into my Google spreadsheet and estimate times that we would be at each one. And when we got to around as late as we would want to be driving, that's where we found the hotel. So day one of our trip, which is going to be next weekend's video, is going to take us from home to Gadsden, Alabama. That is between Birmingham and Fort Payne. Now, we chose that route. It is the southern route to get there so that we're not seeing the same scenery the entire time. It's also the exact route that we took for the first part of our journey last year with our Bolt. And we're going to wrap this video up with a comparison of our charge times. We already know that the Tesla is going to win. It's just going to be by how much faster can it go. The route plan showed us doing the same amount of driving, getting to Gadsden, Alabama at the same time that we got our Bolt to Meridian, Mississippi last year. That is an additional 199 miles further along the route with this car that we can get in the same amount of time. So, and that's all going to be because of the time spent at chargers. We're not going to drive this car any faster than we drove the Bolt, and we didn't drive, we drove the Bolt the speed limit, and we're going to drive the Model 3 the speed limit. The time spent charging is going to allow us to make up 199 miles, might as well say 200 miles. So according to a better route planner, it's set with shorter, more frequent stops in the settings by just a little bit. It's not dead center perfectly on the line. And so there's going to be some discrepancy with a better route planner and what the car does. And this route plan is not, the exact stops may not necessarily be where we're going to stop. We're going to listen to the car when we're actually taking the trip. But we'll leave home and we'll go to a Buc-ee's in Terrell to charge, followed by Collins Street Bakery in Lindale, Texas. That's just outside of Longview. And then Mall St. Vincent in Shreveport, Louisiana, a Walmart Dollar Tree in Ruston, Louisiana, at the Ameristar Casino across the border in Vicksburg, Mississippi, the Outlets of Mississippi in Pearl. This is going to be as close as we came to that charging hiccup we had in Jackson last year. Then Bonita Lakes Mall in Meridian. That's where we spent the night on day one last year, was in Meridian, Mississippi. But then we're going to continue on to Cottondale, Alabama, and then finally to a Fairfield Inn and Suites in Gadsden, Alabama. Day two, it puts us considerably closer to where we were going last year in Sevierville, Tennessee, but we're not going there. We're going to Charlottesville, Virginia. But day 2, we'll go through Chattanooga, Tennessee, and charge at a Hamilton Place, another Buc-ee's in Kodak, Tennessee, which is going to be kind of close to where our destination was last year. Then Royal Farms in Bristol, Virginia. I might swing by just to get a passing shot of Bristol Motor Speedway, just because we're going to be so close to it. The Holiday Inn Express in Wytheville, Virginia, a Sheetz gas station in Lexington, Virginia, and then finally arrive at our destination in Charlottesville, hopefully around dinner time. Then we're going to be at our destination for a few days, and on Monday we turn around and we come back. And on the way back, to try to mimic the route that we took with the Bolt, we're going to take the northern route. And again, I pulled all of these up from a Better Route Planner. They showed me where the charge stops were. I verified their versions and stuff on PlugShare, and then routed it all out using Google Maps to get better estimated times, put it all into a spreadsheet so I have it all in front of me, and then by following the Tesla's route planning, I'll probably end up abandoning all of that. But we will go through charging stops at a Comfort Inn in Rafine, Virginia, the Sheetz in Salem, the Comfort Inn in Atkins, another Sheetz in Bristol, the Buc-ee's in Kodak, and then our route changes from our trip there. We'll stop at Stonehouse Winery in Crossville, Tennessee, a Cheddar's in Mount Juliet, Tennessee, a Holiday Inn Express in Dixon, Casey Jones Village in Jackson, Tennessee, and we'll tell a story about that when we get there, an IHOP in Memphis, the Pinecrest Shopping Center in Brinkley, Arkansas, and then we're going to be spending the night at a Best Western Plus in Little Rock, Arkansas. That is a 900+ mile leg, just a hair over 900 miles, going all the way to Little Rock on day 3. That's going to be our longest single day of taking an EV on the road ever that we've ever done. In fact, it's probably the longest single day of driving that I've done in over 20 years to get there to Little Rock. Then we'll wake up, stop at Hope, Hope, Arkansas, New Boston, Texas, and final charge at the Buc-ee's in Royce City, Texas. And that's so that we can get home early enough on Tuesday to get unpacked, get laundry started, get ready for work the next day, and get a decent night's sleep before we get back into our normal life. So day 1 and day 3 are very long legs. Day 1's going to be, at that point, the longest trip that we've done in an EV in one day. And then day 3 is going to beat it. So when this video releases, it's going to be part 1 from home to Gadsden, Alabama. Part 2 is going to be from there to Charlottesville. Part 3 will be Charlottesville to Little Rock, and part 4 will be Little Rock home. And then we'll have an epilogue on this that's going to do a breakdown of charging times and charging costs between our Model 3 this time around and our Bolt from last year. So I'm sorry that this week's video is short, but I just wanted to share what our trip plan was. We've had a lot of build up for this trip, so much so that we basically it was the main reason, one of the main reasons that we got this car. The main reason is that I wanted one. And so I got one because I wanted one, and I'm really liking the car, and we'll give you the update. And yes, we already know from a couple of our practice road trips to Amarillo and to the Ozarks, to Lake of the Ozarks specifically, that the charge stops are not going to be as dramatic as they were. They're not going to take as long to get the charging started and getting logged into apps and things like that. We'll just pull up to the supercharger, grab the plug in, and we're good. So we'll commentate about our trip. We'll comment on our trip with our little drive and talk shot that we've started doing and all of that. I hope you join us on these videos to kind of watch the trip and join us on our journey that way. Thank you very much for watching, and we'll see you on the road.